It astounds me how different the second Trump term is from the first one. I think it's because President Trump sort of got his sea legs. I think he got kind of, he knows where all the bodies are buried now. He knows sort of how to maneuver with the jackals of the news media. This leak to CNN that supposedly confirmed that our strike on the Iranian nuclear sites really wasn't all that successful. We just kind of clipped them. We didn't set them back. I mean, they're ready to go. They're going to be able to have a nuke next week because Trump's mission was so botched. Nope. Daddy ain't playing anymore. And they're not going to pussyfoot around. There's now that it's coming out that even the Iranians are confirming that the nuclear sites were obliterated. And look, there's still maybe the fog of a little bit of lack of clarity, but we're going to find out. But here's what's going to happen. There's going to be a full-fledged investigation. That leak is illegal. It is against the law. And they're going to find the leaker and they're going to prosecute. Earlier today, Pete Hegseth held a press conference at the Pentagon and sort of set the record straight in a big way.
Fake news, CNN, MSNBC, or the New York Times, there's been fawning coverage of a preliminary assessment. I've had a chance to read it. Every outlet has breathlessly reported on a preliminary assessment from DIA. I'm looking at it right now. Again, it was preliminary, a day and a half after the actual strike, when it admits itself in writing that it requires weeks to accumulate the necessary data to make such an assessment. It's preliminary. It points out that it's not been coordinated with the intelligence community at all. There's low confidence in this particular report. It says in the report there are gaps in the information. It says in the report multiple linchpin assumptions are what this assessment, a linchpin assumption, you know what that is? That means your entire premise is predicated on a linchpin. If you're wrong, everything else is wrong. And still, this report acknowledges it's likely severe damage. Again, this is preliminary, but leaked because someone had an agenda to try to muddy the waters and make it look like this historic strike wasn't successful.
Any chance they can to try to disparage this administration, the deep state is going to try. Hegseth went on to tout the unprecedented success of Operation Midnight Hammer.
Those that understand, those that see, those that do proper assessments recognize that what the United States military did was historic. And again, before I pass it to the chairman, because you, and I mean specifically you, the press, specifically you, the press corps, because you cheer against Trump so hard, it's like in your DNA and in your blood to cheer against Trump, because you want him not to be successful so bad, you have to cheer against the efficacy of these strikes. You have to hope maybe they weren't effective. Maybe the way the Trump administration has represented them isn't true. So let's take half-truths, spun information, leaked information, and then spin it in every way we can to try to cause doubt and manipulate the public mind over whether or not our brave pilots were successful. How many stories have been written about how hard it is to, fly a plane for 36 hours? Has MSNBC done that story? Has Fox? Have we done the story how hard that is? Have we done it 2 or 3 times so that American people understand? How about how difficult it is to shoot a drone from an F-15 or 16 or F-22 or F-35? Or what it's like to man a Patriot battery? Or how hard it is to refuel midair? Giving the American people an understanding of how complex and sophisticated this mission really was. There are so many aspects of what our brave men and women did that because of the hatred of this press corps are undermined because your people are trying to leak and spin that it wasn't successful. It's irresponsible.
I ask you a question. What do you think would be happening right now in the media if the Iranian strikes had been conducted by a Democrat administration. If Barack Obama's administration, or even Joe Biden's administration, or a Kamala Harris administration had pulled off Operation Midnight Hammer, you know how different the media coverage would be. You know it instinctively, you know it in your heart. They're not going to praise this president. They're not going to. Some of them are reluctantly giving him credit, but only a little bit. And Secretary Hegseth went on to lay it out in terms of giving credit where credit is due.
The bottom line here, President Trump directed the most complex and secretive military operation in history. And it was a resounding success, resulting in a ceasefire agreement and the end of the 12-day war. There's been a lot of discussion about what happened and what didn't happen. Step back for a second. Because of decisive military action, President Trump created the conditions to end the war, decimating, choose your word, obliterating, destroying Iran's nuclear capabilities.
There's the money cut right there. That's the money clip. That's the truth. And we've just got to try to ignore the noise. We've got to stay focused. We've got to accept the victories. Did you see the stock market yesterday? Soaring to record highs. The economy is booming. Good things are coming. Good things continue to happen, both domestically and overseas. We are in the golden era. And Pete Hegseth's smackdown of CNN and MSNBC was magnificent. Florida writes a text. Hegseth was great. Sad to say it went in one ear and out the other. They suffer from Trump derangement syndrome. They're going to continue with their agenda. But it gives me such pride to see God-fearing, country-loving adults in charge. Isn't that right? Aren't you glad that grown-ups are in charge now? How different things would be right now if we were facing Kamala Harris in the White House. Welcome in. It's a Thursday, final Thursday of the month, in fact. Wow, June flew by, huh? We're in the Relief Factor studios. And time for another hour of the Mike Gallagher Show. 800-655-MIKE if you'd like to join us. As always, we want to put your voice front and center. You tell me what the media would be doing if a Democrat had pulled off Operation Midnight Hammer. Am I wrong? 800-655-6453. I hope you join us.
For full shows, live and on demand, it's Salem News Channel.